dude.
He is a rapper.
Dude.
Okay, but why was it about
you guys?
What got me was the crab started rapping in the middle of it.
Okay,
Because
first of all, his name is Sebastian. He's not the
Sebastian
crab Kim. Kim?
You're right. That's my bad, Tanner. Sorry.
It's fine. But so Sebastian, okay, first off,
before you get right into that, I kind of want to start with that. That's a great way to start the episode, I think.
Okay.
Sorry.
You should have just done it. Like,
well, it counts us in, so go for it, dude.
Okay. So we're just going to start like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I start then? Can I start talking?
It already counted us in.
Okay. So no, I'm just focused on your guys' faces. That's why I was so first, the rap is god awful because it's out of nowhere. It's by Aquafina, whose singing voice sucks already. And here's the thing, okay? I don't feel any ill will towards Aquafina. She's fine in other things I've seen her in. She's in Crazy Rich Asians, and that's a good movie. But in this, she hurts me physically. I can't stand her in The Little Mermaid. I can't stand it. So when that rap happened, that's the moment where I was gonna get up in front of all these kids and leave and say fuck. I was so done with it, you guys.
That's fair.
It's understandable. I knew a guy that when he went to go see that Harry Potter movie in theaters and Dumbledore died, he stood up and he's like, "Dumbledore, no!"
That's so real, though.
Have we all seen? No, I don't want to spoil No Way Home, but I did a similar thing in No Way Home. Okay, so in No Way Home, my buddy, he was watching it, and when Tobey Maguire comes in, my buddy just shouted, "It's Toby time, bitches!" And the whole I was like, dude, fuck yeah, it's Toby time.
Real.
He was right about
Damn, that's not even a spoiler. Everybody was waiting for Toby to pop out.
Well, just in case anybody didn't, I didn't want to ruin it because it's one of the best parts of the movie. But
I remember back in the days of Twilight, and there was that scene where Bella was pregnant, she was having her baby or whatever, and her back fucking snaps. I remember in the theater, I went, "Oh shit!"
That's a valid reaction.
Absolutely.
Everybody just
shit.
I like that.
I love your reactions sometimes.
Dude,
I was like, damn.
Imagine giving birth so hard your back snaps in half.
Literally.
Fuck,
Absolutely
man.
not.
I mean, it probably feels
that's
like
something that kind of actually happens. Yeah, there's been people.
Yeah, you just kind of pop your hip out of place. Just kind of split the pelvis.
There's people who are left in wheelchairs from childbirth.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for lecturing about how childbirth goes for people. I appreciate it because that's really what I was thinking about.
Listen, we got on that train and now here we are.
Someone has to educate the kids.
Look, as some of the first women on the show, we got to get that input.
You know what? Congratulations, you are the first women we've had on the show. So, boom, achievement unlocked.
Oh yeah.
So we're telling kids that when kids, by the way, when your mom
Twilight, but it starts with Twilight.
No. You said you were instructing kids. So when moms give birth, kids, when your mom gave birth to you, she broke her back in half. So you did that. That's your fault. Good job. That's what you guys just said. That's what you guys implied.
So when you emerge from a crack, you break your mother's back.
Wait, I have soundboard stuff for this. I have a slow clap. I'm not prepared.
You were not prepared.
Oh man.
Emerge from your mother's crack, you also break your mother's back.
That was too good, man.
That sounds like something straight out of a horror movie.
It does, absolutely.
I think with that,
but it's just
we
Twilight.
can start the show.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the show that brings you Dungeons, monsters, news, and homebrews in some particular order. I am your host, Orion.
And I'm your host, Sam. Just happy to be remembered this time.
And with us, we have some very special guests from the 5 GMs in a Trench Coat podcast. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Who are those guys?
Oh, I don't know who those people
Who?
are.
No, actually, guys, we're all just 5 guys in one trench coat. We
Yeah.
had to get it custom tailored, so we couldn't start until we got that trench coat.
It's just one guy.
I couldn't even afford all 5 guys.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with the concept. I've seen The Little Rascals.
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly like that.
Yeah. I'm Tamlin. Hello.
Welcome.
What do you do on our podcast?
Oh my god, I play and eventually I'll DM. I don't know.
What else do you do?
Who's to say? I also draw a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh, we really
Love
love
that, love
art
that.
over here, so nice.
Yeah.
Tamlin's
that's
our
what I
resident
do.
artist. We love
Nice.
Tamlin. I'm Kim. I also am a cast member. I also will DM eventually. And I'm also the person on social media. So if you've probably interacted with the 5 Gems account, it's just me.
Yeah, she kills that
Nice.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
The social
Yeah, I've seen you
master.
guys on Twitter. You guys do good. Like you
Thanks.
guys
I
post.
try. I'm like, how can I do this, but also be funny?
Yeah,
That's
it-
all it
Get a
is
guy
nowadays.
to do our our social media.
Well, the 100% the trick to comedy is just timing.
Yeah.
True.
But
And
it's
you
been
also-
hard because
Yeah,
How
you'll
Twitter's
miss
been right
100% of the
now.
shots you don't take. So
yeah.
Right. So say every single joke that goes through your mind because
Yeah, just
eventually
every single thought.
Yeah,
One of them will hit.
numerically,
yeah,
one
mine
of them's
too.
going to be funny
Everywhere.
eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm Tanner. I am currently the GM on 5 GMs in a Trench Coat.
Forever GMs represent.
Hell yeah, dude. That's how I started, like playing tabletops. But you know, that's how a lot of people start, I guess. You know.
Oh yeah. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. How long have you guys been in the podcast scene?
Oh my god.
That
So-
answer's complicated.
Yeah. Okay. So we technically started earlier this year on collecting all of our equipment and just getting everything together. And just like having practice recording sessions before we actually did it to make sure all of our equipment worked. So technically we started beginning of this year, but we've had this concept for a bit now.
Yeah.
It just took time for us to actually execute it.
Yeah, I feel that we kind of like started a little bit with a little bit of practice, but ultimately, like we wanted to wait until we really got going, and then we just
Yeah.
kind of threw ourselves out there, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
It is. It's crazy. You have the idea and then you do it and you're like, oh, my child's in the world now.
Yeah.
all these little brain children just crawling around the internet.
Yeah.
Brain children is such a good way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. I made an attempt years ago in like a 2017 at a podcast. It fell flat on its face after the first or second recording.
What's going wrong?
The DM felt like it was just too much pressure. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I was gonna say, like, if the question of like how long we've been podcasting is targeted at the show itself, it's only a few months now, right? But
Yeah.
if you mean like in us individually, how long have we been like trying out the podcast thing?
Sure.
I've been like in and out of podcasts since like 2018 or so.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just like small stuff, yeah, but a bunch of different things. So I think like how that, like with 5 gyms in a trench coat, this is the first time I think that this is the largest like cast I've ever done it with, you know? And it's also the first time I think we're all putting a lot of like serious work into it, like treating it as more than just something to do. You know what I mean? Because I think that a lot of the time that's what podcasting is, right? It's just something to do with your buds, and that's cool.
Right.
You know, no shame, but sometimes you want to put in that bit of extra work, and I think that's what 5 gems has been, which has been nice in my opinion, at least.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm wondering, do you guys do your own editing, or do you have, Sorry, behind the scenes that we do.
Yeah. So I've had a little bit of experience with editing prior, but this has been like my first, and because it's me and Adam who do the editing, and usually we'll do it in like shifts where one of us will do like the small stuff, taking out like coughs and stuff like that, tangents and things like that, and then I'll go in usually with putting in the sounds and the music and that sort of thing. So it's been a really interesting learning curve of figuring out like editing in general, because especially like the first few episodes, we were just like, all right, how does this work? And then also figuring out the like logistics and stuff too, because especially when we first, this is our first few episodes ended up being a whole debacle, because we had our first recording session, and the first episode sounded fine, and so we had gone through the rest of the day. I think we recorded like 6 or 7 that day. And
what a good idea that would have been.
It was a great idea initially, but then here comes the road bump. We are getting ready to edit our next episode, and then we find out that the files were corrupted. And we were listening. Yeah, we were listening, and then we're like, oh, there's this weird echo. And then we listened to the other ones, and they all had that weird echo. And we're like, this. And then we tried to like figure out ways to fix it so we didn't have to like re-record, but there was nothing we could do to fix it. So those are our last episodes. We have like
the pain.
there's like 5 or 6 of them just out there in the ether somewhere. We can't ever bring those
like,
back.
Really good ones too.
They were.
I wonder.
They're totally different tone.
Oh yeah.
There are some audio editing softwares that utilize AI. I wonder if you might be able to salvage it.
Maybe, I don't know.
It would be nice to like
I just want to hear because the tone that we set with those first like 6 episodes were very different than what we ended up doing. Way different. It would have fallen downhill much faster.
I was gonna say, I think eventually we still get to that tone. It just takes us a little longer. That's all
it
that
takes us
happens.
like maybe 10 episodes to get there.
Instead of like 4.
Instead of like 2. I think it happens so fast.
Yeah, it's like first like mission.
Yeah.
What would you say your episode count is at this point?
We recorded last month. We're in July now. Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Crazy.
We recorded a few weeks ago then. Wow. I hate how time works. But after that, we hit 18 episodes of what we have now. So we have 18 episodes recorded. So that's where we're at. And we're going to record again this month in a few weeks. So I'm very excited. We're going in crazy places. It's so hard recording once a month because you're just like, I want to talk about this thing, but I can't spoil this thing.
Maybe you could try like doing like little TikTok type shorts, and then kind of like a little something to tie the listeners over for a little bit until you get to that big recording session.
Yeah.
We've talked about doing little like snippets of our like the world or stuff like that, like on our social media, kind of to like bridge that gap right between like recording and like space. So it's definitely something that's been on our mind.
Yeah, we've entertained a few thoughts like that, like maybe Sam doing his own little monster facts segment where he'll be like,
you live and die by it, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, he could start it out with like, "Welcome to Sam Facts. It rhymes with anthrax." I will die on that hill. That's a good joke.
Oh man,
that's solid.
Oh, I do like it.
That's a good one. You should do that. I think that should be something that should follow through. I think that could possibly take off.
Absolutely.
I think one of our social media editors are working on our shorts like that.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Pretty funny.
I remember when we first started out with our show, I was doing all the editing, and then our savior Fenico came in and is just like, Orion, stop.
Savior.
You're thinking too hard. You're gonna hurt yourself.
We got our background furry who does our editing.
So valid.
So Don't tell Kim nor Adam, but I've edited like my fair share of podcasts in my time, right? I didn't want to this time because it's a lot of work, turns out. But again, don't tell them I know how to do it. Don't tell them I know how to do it. But like that's always the tough part.
Now that I know
right?
that you know how to do it, I'm gonna be like, Tanner.
No, I'm off. No, I don't know how to edit at all. I'm so bad at editing.
It's on record now.
No,
Yes.
Kim, I'm so bad at editing. Trust me. But that's
I
always
don't know,
the
Tanner.
tough.
It sounds like it's on record now. It sounds like we got it on mic.
Quick,
Yeah,
Echo,
no,
delete
Sam-
that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like you guys, Sam Orion, you guys didn't hear anything, right? I'm awful
No,
editing.
no.
That's
I
right.
Totally.
edit for life of me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably completely muted that part.
Only nerds know how to edit stuff, and I'm not a nerd. There's no way I'm a nerd.
If we didn't have our
Yeah,
nerds,
talk
we would be
about
so
Star Wars.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Star Wars.
Don't do that here. Not here. I'm not talking about Star Wars here.
You're gonna go on a tirade for fucking.
I mean, you guys should have been here
2
for our Star Wars episode.
Dude.
Tanner would have
The-
gone
hours.
off.
Yeah.
What a wild episode that was.
They tease me because every time Star Wars gets brought up, like if I'm there, it turns into like a 5-hour discussion. I don't want it to, but every time I just get so heated about it. I feel very strongly
I
about
love the
Star
passion,
Wars.
man. I love the passion.
Yeah.
That's why there's so
Yeah.
many Star Wars references in our episodes.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I am the GM. That's on me.
Is it hard working with so many people?
I think like I can start. I think that for me, right, like podcasting with a lot of people is something I'm not used to.
Mhm.
So recording with a lot of people, kind of trying to juggle that is not as easy for me as maybe it is for other people.
Mhm.
But GMing for this group is about the right size for me because of what we have 4 players. Yeah, we have 4
Yeah.
players. So
Hitting
I
that sweet
tend
spot.
to like, I tend to like 4 or 5 personally. Any more is a little too much or a little harder. Any smaller, I don't feel like there's enough dynamicity.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I feel that. Like the most I've ever ran at a single time was 8 people. And that session was interrupted by a random drug addict showing up at my door like, hey man, I just want to be friends. Don't kick me out.
That's rough. But at least you had 8
Yeah.
people to like, like 8 people to go back to and be like, guys, this was crazy. Like,
Oh, they were
Yeah, it
right
was a
there
story
because
to tell.
we were doing this in my living room. And then like the guy shows up at my front door and I walk up like, what's going on here?
yeah, like, hey, man.
And then like my DM brain is racing like, this random ass guy, can we include him in some way? But then it's just like, this guy is too sketchy. I can't bring
Can you
myself to
play
do it.
D&D? Pull out the character sheet. I got something for you.
Hold on. You want to be an NPC? Hold on, I got you.
You're like, I was just about to introduce this new NPC. You're perfect. You have the perfect look. Your voice sounds perfect. Come here. He's like, hey, man.
Yeah, it's like, come on,
I'm
dude,
gonna
you
get
can be
strong.
Boblin the Goblin.
He's like, I can't read.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Don't worry, you don't have to be literate to play D&D.
What's D&D?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're already halfway there, man.
Right?
We just roll dice and then do some stuff. I don't know.
Exactly.
I can't read.
Like,
Yeah,
I let my
all
kids
do is
play
roll
a
dice
couple
and someone
times.
tells me what it means.
My daughter likes to shank dragons in the throat, so
That's
Teach
the
them while
only
they're
thing.
young.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing you can do in D&D, I
Yeah,
think,
that's
right?
Listen,
Honestly.
that's powerful.
Shank
for
dragons in the throat.
absolutely. And then like my son, he's like, I want to play a wizard. Okay, cool. You got magic. So what do you do with this magic? I'm going to go up to the ice cream man. I'm going to get some ice cream, make it taste like poop, and then I'm going to give it to people.
and then shank a dragon in the throat because that's all you do in
I mean,
D&D.
where else
Yeah.
do you shank a dragon? Like,
Yeah, like,
Yeah, obviously you gotta get in some mischievous stuff and then you shank a dragon.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
that's just the way.
They got the spirit. They got
You
poop
just-
cream and dragon shanks.
you just,
Yeah.
That's actually just what D&D stands
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's what it should be called.
Dragons and
I don't know why they.
Dragons and Dookie. Got him.
There it is.
There it
We
is.
did it.
for. We figured out the rebranding, guys.
Oh man.
Gygax
Wizard of the
thought he
Coast
was
is gonna send a
clever
hitman towards
by
you.
hiding it in subtext, but we got it. We cracked the code.
We got there eventually.
Oh man.
It only took like 50 years.
Speaking of cracking the code, why don't we go ahead and get onto the news here with the Pathfinder stuff?
Okay, so The Pathfinder, after seeing the OGL debacle and not wanting to become a martyr themselves, which understandable, has released their equivalent of D&D's OGL, and they're like, okay, going all in, open source, anyone can mod Pathfinder, which is, that works. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, I don't even need to read the whole article. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like, they got their own OGL. It's open to everybody to mod as they please.
I wonder how the Pathfinder people feel about that.
I would imagine Josiah Doodles feels pretty good about that. The guy, the Candy homebrew dude.
The Candy Man.
If you guys haven't seen him on Twitter, his Candy homebrew setting for Pathfinder is amazing.
That sounds so fun.
It's straight like Adventure Time, and like when we had him on the show, it's like he was talking about how it's such a silly setting, but like when you give players a silly setting, they come up with serious characters, and then when you come up with a serious setting, everyone suddenly brings all the joke characters.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's that's my experience too. Like, I was like, hey, like we're gonna for the 5GMs like campaign that we're running right now. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do kind of like not a serious thing, but like something a little more like serious, right? Luckily, a couple of our players, Kim and Tamlin included, had already played in the setting before, so they kind of got the vibe. Right. But a couple of our other players came up with characters that are a little more flamboyant, maybe. And and that shit got like it put things into perspective real fast because like some things have happened
wonderfully.
Oh, it does. I'm not complaining, man. Yeah,
I mean, especially with the new episodes that are going to come out. Just a little tease. And they're going to be so juicy.
They are.
Excited already.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we did play in the setting before as a one shot like late last year because Tanner wanted to like brush off his GMing skills and start fleshing out the world. And so we played in it, and our characters, we were younger versions of our characters. We were both, I think, I was 18.
I was also like 18.
I was like, I think you're 18 or 19. And so we played that, and then that was our first like mission gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, what if we just continue with those characters?
Rip off of this.
Yeah, like 40 years later, like how are they doing now?
Yeah, how did they change?
Spoiler alert.
It's pretty awesome.
Great.
I like that.
That's a really cool idea.
It's funny that though about the Pathfinder thing, because like I started off as a Pathfinder player, like that was my first ever tabletop, was the original first edition Pathfinder. And I got really into homebrew stuff really fast for the original Pathfinder. Has anybody here like read the second edition of Pathfinder now?
I have not, but I'm familiar with some of the stuff from it because a lot of the content creators I follow, they're like, hey, these are things that you can steal from Pathfinder for your games. And I'm just the kind of guy that when I DM, I bastardize like several different tabletops to make my games unique.
No, I totally get you. I think that's a really good idea to keep things mechanically interesting, I've myself have only read a bit of Pathfinder second edition, but I don't quite get it, in the same way that I did the original Pathfinder. But yeah, it's cool that they're in. No.
Oh yeah, I played original Pathfinder and 3.5 D&D, so like I used to just kind of like mix and match the rules because they were built off of the 3.5, so it's like you can just kind of swap whatever. It's all pretty interchangeable.
Which is, I really appreciated it because it meant you had like years of like backlogs of homebrew that you could take from 3.5, right? For Pathfinder. Pathfinder 2.0 though, I think it's really cool that they're encouraging homebrew like this. It's obviously a great opportunity after the whole Wizards thing,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Right. I would imagine there's going to be a big uptick in the homebrew community for it because a lot of people are like, I don't know, is it okay to get these good homebrews going? And they're kind of like, I don't want to step on any licensing toes.
Yeah. I think they definitely saw, how big the community for D&D is, especially the homebrew community. They were like, we can kind of capitalize on this. You know what I mean? Wizards of the Coast kind of fucked up, but we don't have to fuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Paizo has a pretty like creator / player friendly like they project that like a very creator friendly, player friendly view of themselves, I guess, right? And so I think it's a really smart move because of that, because Wizards kind of just shot themselves in the foot big time in that regard.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are viewing them as kind of the man, you know what I mean?
Right.
And Paizo's like, we're not that. And so as this, one of the larger like tabletop companies, it's a smart move, I think,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that Paizo has as a big advantage is they don't have Hasbro breathing down their necks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why, Wizards kind of fucked up so bad. I doubt it was mostly them, it was probably mostly Hasbro.
Yeah,
I mean, you tried to make good decisions with the Monopoly man breathing down your neck.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. I hope this goes well for Pathfinder and Paizo. Like, I liked Pathfinder and I like Paizo's company generally. So I hope this does encourage people to like engage with Pathfinder a bit more,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
They definitely have a lot of fun rules. Like they have a few more passive things and conditions and lots of stuff that kind of mixes well. Like a lot of people dislike how 5th edition is not crunchy enough for them, and Pathfinder provides that amount of number crunch.
That was my first reservation when 5th came out, or when D&D Next, I guess, when it was first announced, was like I was used to Pathfinder crunch from Pathfinder First Edition / 3.5, right? Where like there's a lot of numbers, and I really enjoyed that. Since I've kind of moved away from that side of gaming, right? But yeah, that was what I really missed. And so I don't know how Pathfinder 2nd Edition is about its crunch, but if it's anything like the 1st edition, then I'd really like to try it out sometime.
Yeah, I hear it's very similar in the crunchy aspects, but they kind of like loosened things up a little bit.
That's nice.
Jesse, what the hell are y'all talking about? You want more numbers? Why?
No, that's personally numbers bad.
But I feel like I can take the side of a lot of our listeners here. They're like,
but math is hard.
People talk about 5e and they're like, oh man, look at these. They give you like 7 numbers on a sheet. And you're like, good.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like my girlfriend, I tried explaining like D&D 5th edition to her, and she's played it a couple times, and she's like, it's really hard for me to get. There's a lot of like math and like numbers, and in all fairness, there are a lot of numbers being thrown at you, right? Relatively speaking.
Yeah.
But then I showed her Fate, which is the game we're playing right now in 5GMs, and it's pretty like light on numbers, and she's like, oh, this makes so much sense to me. And I'm like, I guess, you know what I mean? Like I'm so used to a crunchy system that I think when numbers are there, I'm like, I get it,
Yeah.
But
he's a numbers guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're playing a game and there's no trigonometry at your D&D table, then
where's
are
my
you
calculus?
even playing?
I was gonna say, yeah.
If I don't have to whip out a compass at my table, I'm okay.
Nope.
I need my phone's calculator.
Nope.
Yeah, let me get my
I start
protractor.
counting, and
My
all of a
scientific
sudden I can't
calculator.
count on my 10 fingers. I'm like, it's over.
Yeah.
I can't.
I was gonna say,
I'm
no,
done.
but if you're not using a graphing calculator in every single combat, like for every single calculation, then it's not even a game, really,
Then
What
are
are we
you
even
playing
doing?
D&D?
Yeah.
If my
Speaking
damages
of-
aren't getting into fractions, come on. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
like
On a side note, Sam, what is the monster this week? Like, this is 4th of July weekend. What's the most American thing you can bring us here?
Why do you have to tie it like that? How do I connect it?
Now, if it's not 4th of July themed, I'm going to be disappointed.
All right, but okay, hold on. Let me think of something real quick. Wait, hold on.
I was
Wait.
gonna say,
No.
poor Sam. That's rough, man.
What's more American than productions?
Okay.
Did you know
All right.
current food productions are making like fake food? Yeah, that's kind of crazy, like meats and stuff. So,
artificial stuff. Okay.
Yeah, like artificial, made in the lab, blah blah blah. So why on that line don't we talk about artificial people, right? Homunculus and stuff. why
America,
not, I guess?
home of the free, land of the artificial.
I mean, cloning is a thing. So I mean, Or I guess it was.
I remember when they first like cloned sheep back in the early 2000s. That was wild.
Right. That was like a big thing. It was a big deal.
Mhm.
I appreciate the mental gymnastics from America to homunculus. It works well.
Listen, he made it work.
If you really think about it, the big man, corporate big boss is basically just the psycho alchemist who made the companies are the little homunculus, you know what I mean?
There we go. Yeah, no, you're onto something. You're getting there.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Aren't we all homunculuses in the capitalist system, really? And what's more capitalist than America?
Exactly.
Got it.
That's it. Interview over.
Roll credits.
Thank you for coming to Tanner's TED Talk.
I know, but really, guys, we covered The Little Mermaid. We're talking about capitalism. Sorry.
Yeah. Is this D&D or are we just, what are we really talking about here? We're really getting at the root of the problems.
We've mentioned D&D a few times already. We'll get there.
If we throw it around, we're technically in D&D.
Yeah.
We're technically talking about it.
So
sprinkle it in
people
here.
Vaguely know who homunculus are. I feel like, what's the anime? Full Metal Alchemist comes to mind when you think of homunculus.
Acting like you don't know.
I know, right? Let me fill my confidence on Full Metal Alchemist. But all right, so homunculus are minor constructs created to guard specific places, objects, or beings. They require no food, no sleep. They can maintain their watch indefinitely. Homunculi can fairly understand complex orders. They can follow instructions with no thought or self-preservation. So in a lot of cases, the homunculus are made for like a singular purpose, right? Or for a singular theme, I suppose. When you take Full Metal Alchemist into account, you got the
they had like a 7 Deadly Sin vibe and
that's crazy. What are they doing?
I don't know.
How'd they get there?
So they say the pride cometh before the fall, and then here they are building a homunculus built on pride. Dude,
exactly.
This man's gonna be his own downfall.
So in 4th edition, funny enough, the example of homunculus are things like the Clay Scout. A Clay Scout is often tasked with guarding an object. It tries to remain unseen unless it attacks, preferring to use mind touch to daze enemies, to become invisible to them. That's actually kind of cool. It then tries to bite creatures that can't see it while using redirect to protect itself. It's kind of cool. So it's supposed to be this, small little humanoid made of clay. And then you have things like the Iron Defender. It was an Iron Defender. It's often tasked with guarding another creature, usually its creator. It uses pursue and attack to stay close to its charge. And obviously, these were kind of robotic, sort of like a... I was going to say a gnome warforged. But
it's like a psionic mini-me? Is that what I'm getting here?
I mean, basically, that's what the Clay Scout kind of was, yeah.
Oh my god.
But this one was kind of cool. The last one that I talked about was the Iron Cobra. It was usually tasked with guarding an area. Yeah, it attacks with its poisonous bite and uses its mind to. Uses poison the mind against the envenomed creatures. Interesting.
That sounds scary.
I know, right? So in the Forgotten Realms, the vast majority of homunculi were created by wizards and artificers. Some artificers were also capable of constructing specialized homunculi designed to aid them in their allies in battle. As constructed creatures, homunculi did not require food or water, like I said. They were created through a lengthy procedure involving sculpting the construct's body from clay, ash, a mandrake root, and spring water.
Huh. That is
just a little guy out there gathering materials.
Just a little guy.
Don't mind me. Let me just get this clay and I have to find all these roots. And
all right, building a man.
Yeah.
Just building a man.
You run into someone gathering mandrake root. Don't worry, I'm just building a little guy.
Yeah.
The plot of Rocky Horror.
I just imagine this disgruntled hermit that's just building his own kids because he just I can't deal with women anymore. I can't get married. They're just they're all after my stuff. It's why should I raise a child and have half of everything taken away when I could just build a kid?
I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's funny
it's
that
Pinocchio.
you mentioned That Pinocchio is another.
Yeah,
people.
it's literally
You got
just
like
Pinocchio.
Frankenstein and stuff. Those are all homunculus.
I mean, me personally, I love a little guy.
We all love little guys.
Yeah, I think little guys should be in games more often.
Yeah,
Tanner,
you got gnomes, you got dwarves, all the other little guys. So you got the entire procedure needs to be carried out in a properly equipped alchemist laboratory. The base component cost for shipping the body was 50 gold. The stronger homunculi could be created by employing finer components at a larger cost. The sculpture was then brought to life by mixing it with 1 pint, 470 milliliters of its creator's blood. The blood needed to be collected through the use of ceremonial dagger encrusted with jewels. Yeah, that's crazy. So you needed to collect this blood with a dagger, first of all. Like that was made of jewels worth no less than 1,000 gold.
What?
Awesome. I feel like this is very functional in your local meth lab. I mean, you just make jewels that are worth lots of gold.
Basically, I could see it. I mean, alchemists are basically meth creators. Meth. What are they called?
I don't.
What are they called?
Walter White and his little army of homunculi midgets.
I don't know what kind of alchemists you guys put in your games, but mine certainly don't make methamphetamine. They make like
they could.
Maybe they could.
But they
Ever
could.
thought about that, Tanner?
I'm gonna write this stuff
want
down.
to. You know, they would have the knowledge to if they were asked.
I'll start taking notes. I guess my world building's a little off then. That's on me.
Yeah, spice up your world, Tanner.
You're right. I'm sorry.
That's a little crack in your communities.
I mean, last game I ran, our druid was trying to build himself a marijuana empire.
Whoa.
Yeah, and all the weed came from the
You know
grandfather
what?
tree in the high forest.
You guys,
Listen. They
It
had
sounds
the
like-
opportunity.
He's cooking.
They seized it.
yeah, let him cook.
Push in the market, okay? They're businessmen.
Entrepreneurs.
I had a lot of fun with that because, like, when the team came back to a town they had rescued previously, I had them have a bit of a meeting with a satyr from the high forest. So it was supposed to be like a friend from his background, and it was just this satyr that walks around sounding like Snoop Dogg.
Nice.
It
It'd be funny
was
if he
so
only
much
talked
fun.
in raps like Killer B.
Damn, I couldn't do that.
You guys said raps. It just reminded me of The Little Mermaid again. You guys, it's
Oh
so
no,
rough.
what have I
It's so hard
done?
to watch. You guys.
He's got that
God.
mermaid
Yeah.
PTSD.
The best
Oh
song.
my god, Tamlin,
Most
don't you
obviously
dare,
Lin-Manuel Miranda's song on that soundtrack.
It was
Dude.
so good.
dude.
Actually,
Hot.
I haven't seen the movie. I can't
Wait.
talk.
Okay. I was gonna be like hot take, but it doesn't matter if you haven't seen the movie, Tamlin. Just Lin-Manuel Miranda also made 2 extra songs for The Little Mermaid, and it didn't work. I was out, but I'm also not like not to talk about The Little Mermaid in the middle of this D&D podcast. But you guys brought up rapping. This is not on me anymore.
No, it
But-
was a good segue. We're back. It's full circle now.
Yeah. So okay, sorry guys. This is just gonna be about The Little
I'll
Mermaid now.
just slowly somehow bring this back to this homunculus thing.
So
No,
I'm
maybe the
curious.
Little Mermaid is a homunculus. How do we know?
who's to
What if
say?
Sebastian's a homunculus? Hold on.
Yeah,
There we
because
go.
he's a little like familiar type guy, you know.
He's a little guy. He's a
He's
little
a-
guy.
he's just a
He's
little guy.
Exactly, and
He
that's all
plays the little guy
homunculus
role
is.
in The Little Mermaid. There we go.
Damn.
You
Changing
guys,
my life.
everything's a
Oh.
homunculus if you think about it, really.
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid.
You need to make a
had
chart of what's homunculus and what's not.
I don't even know.
Some
So
homunculus
does it
world, we're just living
homunculus?
in it.
Yeah.
What a word, huh? So anyway, the sculpted body was then brought to life via a 1 hour long incubation. Oh, sorry, incantation. I can read. Of the create homunculus spell. A spellcaster could only
Only
have
an
one
hour.
homunculus at a time. Only an hour.
And a
After
pint of blood,
getting-
don't forget.
After getting a pint of your blood with a dagger.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine trying to chant for an hour while feeling lightheaded and woozy from giving blood?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I
Lots of
gave
blood.
blood once. I passed the fuck out.
Did you really?
Well, yeah, it's like
As-
afterwards because like it was at a school thing, and I'm giving the blood and whatnot, and I waited
they're
so
sucking
long.
it out.
Yeah, I waited so long that it went into lunchtime. So my blood sugar had dipped from not having food.
Right. And you're diabetic.
Yeah, so I'm eating some pretzels, trying to, get the strength back up, and then just randomly just pass out, boom. And that static from like an old TV, like a 90s, early 2000s kind of TV static? Like that's all I could see and hear, and then like so slowly coming back into consciousness.
You're like, now's our chance. Take it all.
I kind of like hear somebody, and then I was like, okay, wake up, and there's some people all around me, and they're just like, hey, get up, and for whatever reason, they're trying to get me to spit out my pretzels. I'm like, no, these are my fucking pretzels.
You like passed out with a mouthful of pretzels.
Yeah.
Bro, let me have my pretzels. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah. Let me have this one thing.
You woke up, you were like, ah.
Gets up, sits down, resumes pretzel eating.
You're like, all right, kid, you're all done. They like walk away with their 4 bags of your blood.
Perfect
for my 4 homunculi.
Yeah. I'm gonna make so many homunculi.
Yeah.
If I made a homunculi, I'd name him Junior.
Just Junior.
My brain always goes to like Billy and like Bob and stuff.
Billy Bob.
Billy the homunculus.
Yeah. This is Billy. He's a blood homunculus. He eats birds sometimes. I don't know.
A blood monkey.
He's just vibing, I guess.
Oh, that was good.
A blood homunculus sounds horrifying.
I know, right?
Put it like that sounds so scary.
It sounds kind of cool though.
Doesn't it? That's what I was thinking. Right?
This is my child, my blood homunculus.
Yeah.
No, that's
blood.
Screeches in Infernal.
Then you sound really badass. So
no.
I found him outside.
You know what
I feel like a crazy person because I'm like, I don't really put meth in my games. And also, calling your kid a blood homunculus sounds a little weird to me. But everybody else apparently is totally down. So maybe it's just me.
You know what's really funny that you say that? Wait till I get into the sperm lore about homunculus.
Oh, I'm so excited. Never mind.
Oh,
I'm back
boy.
on board. Whatever.
I mean, it's basically blood.
Oh,
yeah. It's a fluid.
Tamlin.
It's certainly halfway there.
Tamlin.
Tamlin, come on.
I think the biggest problem is getting a whole pint.
Whole pint. Oh yeah.
You're off the podcast. Get out of here.
I'll see y'all later.
I'll see myself out. It's fine.
Oh, my God.
Speaking of fluids and blood, the blood created a mystical bond, allowing the creator to see and hear everything the homunculus experienced over great distances, so long as they were on the same plane. However, there was a drawback that in that if the construct was slain, the creator suffered damage. It was also possible to transfer some of the homunculus's master's own vitality into the construct in order to temporarily boost its vitality. Wow. This is where I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty, boring, real-life stuff, all right?
The sperm stuff, you mean? Because apparently that's coming up.
Yeah. And I'm getting into alchemy lore, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
So according to records of, history and blah, 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 the first use of the term homunculus was found in a text called De Natura Rerum. Rerum? I don't know. That was written by Paracelsus in 1537. In the text, Paracelsus claimed that someone could create a homunculus by using a human sperm and sealing it inside a cucubit, I don't know what that is, for 40 days while having the temperature similar to found inside of a horse's womb. Why a horse? I don't know.
That is oddly specific. Like, this
Why
sounds
not
like
a
this man
woman's
is
womb?
really
I
trying
don't
to
know.
make science excuse his lifestyle. Like,
So now I'm curious. Is a horse's womb hotter than like a woman's womb?
Dude,
I'm not prepared to find
I'm
out.
looking it up now. What's the temperature?
This is gonna be a rabbit hole. I don't know if we all want to go down.
It might just be which is easier to get a hold of.
I mean, I think you're right. I don't know.
You know what I mean? No, that's absolutely fucked. But
why Why are we talking about
everything right
why
now?
are we talking about birthing? Why are we talking? You guys, what's happening?
Tanner was having a great time opening with the Little Mermaid, and now we're here.
No, we can go on talking about Scuttlebutt.
Look, man, it gets better.
Oh,
it's okay.
I heard that song. Never again.
Yeah, never, please.
Look, I promise it gets better.
It sits there like a leech on your mind.
Oh yeah, it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
So for the fun part of the transmutation, the sperm will then slowly transform into a small human. Although it has a transparent body, Paracelsus then said that it should be fed with the arcanum of human blood for 40 weeks in order for it to develop body parts properly.
So you're saying one sperm. I don't think they know what a cell is circa 1536 or whatever. So what is a unit of sperm in this case?
Sperm. I don't know how much sperm we're talking about here. But,
this sounds like the guy just thought that it looks like a tadpole. I'm going to treat it like a tadpole. Yeah. You know, just to give it a little bit of blood like a vampire. Good to go.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what alchemy is, though, man. Like just
science,
guessing, and then science.
We all know, King Arthur came a lot. It's fine.
I can't handle it, you guys. I can't handle it. King Arthur came a lot.
What a reference!
Yes, definitely the American episode.
I just got the joke. Anyways.
Although science has made much progress in the last century, there are still numerous ethical issues that need to be addressed by the scientific community. One such issue is that the creation of artificial life. For some, this is the logical process of scientific knowledge. For others, this is a realm that should not be intruded by human beings. Concepts relating to the creation of artificial life, such as genetic engineering, human cloning, are relatively modern scientific ideas. In the past, however, it was a field of alchemy that medieval scientists sought to artificially create life. One of the beings alchemists were purportedly able to create was the homunculus, meaning little man in Latin.
Yeah,
it's a little boy.
Yeah, they're
just a
little guy.
Yeah,
Latin is so much fun.
We knew. Oh man. So, the first known account of the production of the homunculus is said to be found in an undated Arabic work called the Book of the Cow. Purposely written by the Greek philosopher Plato himself, the materials required for the creation of the homunculus included human semen, as I said before, a cow or ewe, and animal blood. I don't know what ewe is.
It's another animal. I feel like it's a goat
or
something like that.
Sort of
Interesting.
I think so.
Whilst the process includes the artificial insemination of the cow or ewe, smearing the inseminated animal's genitals with the blood of another animal and feeding it exclusively on the blood of another animal.
I think that's enough of that. Holy shit.
Why would you do that?
How do you artificially inseminate? How do you impregnate a cow, like as a human?
With the same way they do it with like on farms and stuff. Just kind of turkey baster it, I assume.
You said Plato wrote this?
Yeah, Plato, the philosopher, I guess.
Over 2,000 years ago, you just grab a turkey baster and
he's pretty based.
I think I know why Plato was homeless.
Look, man, he clearly knew what he was talking about.
Obviously.
Damn it, Plato. I had so much respect until this shit came out.
So apparently this part's pretty interesting. The pregnant animal would then give birth to an unformed substance, which would then be placed in a powder made of ground sunstone, a mystic phosphorescent elixir, sulfur magnets, green tutua, phosphate of iron, and the sap of a white willow. When the blob
I'm done. There's magnets
human...
involved. Yeah,
man, they got me with the magnets, honestly. I don't think it's magnets, but like it just says magne. Like magne? Is it magnet or magne? Maybe it's
so that's where the homunculi as we know it originated. Some sick fuck's idea of like, hey, I'm going to use cows to make humans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what if?
But my question.
Had to stop him.
My question: how do we know this doesn't work though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he had to get this theory from somewhere, right?
Have you guys tested this recently? I think not. So who's to say that Plato's wrong?
Can't say I have, I guess.
You know what? We're going to have to get a volunteer for science.
One of the great minds of... Sorry, Tanlin. You're going to say...
Sorry.
So as I move into the end of this this segment here, I have a little more. So there's this fun little theory that I came upon in my research called the Cartesian theater. So despite many people believing that homunculus don't exist, there are some intellectuals that use the term for other purposes, one of which was the homunculus argument that is related to the human vision. According to the argument, humans have an internal viewer, the one that sees whatever our eyes see in the real world. The internal viewer is said to be a smaller version of the person, but the mind is the one who subconsciously creates its existence. So just make it a little confusing. So when the eyes are able to focus on objects and send signals to the brain on what it looks like, the brain develops the images into movie-like scenes that the internal viewer is watching. The homunculus argument is also called the Cartesian theater, where the inner being of the person is watching what is happening to the bigger version of himself or her in the real world.
It sounds a lot philosophy. Like disassociate.
It does, right? Yeah, like a very disassociative kind of like.
Yeah, like so I follow, like weird, weird connection, but I follow.
Like, got the gears ticking a little bit.
It just sounds like Flesh Gundam, like Attack on Titan.
No.
Flesh Gundam, dude.
Oh no.
That's awful. That's horrifying.
So, however, some people considered the homunculus argument a fallacy due to one major flaw. The flaw is that the internal viewer closely resembles his or her bigger counterpart. He or she must have another internal viewer inside the mind as well. Because of this fallacy, one can argue that the number of internal viewers is infinite, and many believe that there is nothing infinite in the world or even the universe, that everything is supposed to have a beginning and an end. Many arguments and counter-arguments are still being put out today for the fallacy, so we are still far away from knowing if the homunculus argument should be taken seriously.
That's interesting. It's
just kind of a cool thing to think about, I think.
That was a wild rabbit hole.
Yeah. It reminds me of, I know that psychology as a subject for a long time, up until the 20th century, was like a subset of philosophy, basically. Mm-hmm. Because like to a lot of people, like the human brain is like as non-understandable, right? So it's almost like a halfway point between philosophy and psychology, right? It's like a philosophical concept trying to explain like human perception. That's interesting. Fun though. Yeah.
Getting into the deep rabbit hole of what your brain is like on the inside.
Yeah.
Do you have a little man in there? Who knows?
God, boy, do I.
The important question is, what is your little man's name? I think that's something we should all be asking
just your name backwards.
It's Billy Jr. We talked about this earlier, you guys. If you're not listening.
Bob Jr.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, man. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
That was crazy.
It was a wild ride.
Literally went 180 so many different times.
Never let them know your next move.
That was literally, you succeeded.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm not sure how much of that I actually want to put in my games with the homunculi.
Maybe just the part about like the weird ritual and the spell.
Don't forget the meth. You got to put the meth in.
And the meth.
What do you think they eat, man? Keep it together. Come on, follow
exactly.
I'll keep that part because the Arch Lich Walter White just sounds like a fun situation.
Dude, the Arch Lich Walter White. That's nuts. That's awesome. Oh my god.
Walter Blight. No, I'm sorry.
Oh shit, that's good.
Walter Blight.
Right. Now that I've taken up 35 minutes of our time, what are we doing next?
That was a good 35-minute segment, if I say so myself.
Well, let's see. As far as the news for the week goes, there's the D&D video game Baldur's Gate 3 is pushing back their release date, so re-roll for initiative again.
So hope it's good.
I was looking at Baldur's Gate a little bit, and it does look kind of cool.
As long as they're delaying it to make it better.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Like,
I'm sure.
People
feel
would
like
prefer the game comes out later and be, fully good and ready.
I feel
as
like
long as they don't
otherwise.
do what they did with Kingdom Hearts 3, where you wait forever and then you finally get a game and you get less magic than you got in previous games.
So you okay? It's funny that you say this because you keep throwing me on like tangents. Kingdom Hearts is my favorite game series of all time, and so dude, I waited for Kingdom Hearts 3. I was 5 years old when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Kingdom Hearts, the original, was the first thing I ever played. Dude, it's okay. It's I don't know if I'm gonna call it good, but it's really fun. And Kingdom Hearts 3, I was waiting for so long, and then when they announced it, like it took another 3 years. But I was in middle school when it was announced, and I was in the middle of high school or late high school when it came out. Bro, that shit sucked. Waiting for it was awful. I remember that.
For reference, how old are you?
23 now. Young. Yeah.
23 years young.
Yeah. Got him.
That's literally it.
Yeah, that shit. The waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 was awful, but now we're waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I spent so long waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 that it's just like, oh, now I gotta wait for 4. Well, see y'all in 15 years.
Dude, I feel like at least they announced it, because they didn't announce Kingdom Hearts 3 for like 7 years after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So at least we know it's coming. There's like a trailer and everything. So that's something, man.
Yeah, that is definitely the big thing. Although one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts games has got to be Birth by Sleep. I love the concept of being able to just mix and mash moves to make new moves.
I think it's my second favorite of the side games. I'd like oh my god, I'm a fake fan. No, no, it's my favorite of the side games. Yes, it's my favorite of the side games. Yeah.
Man of culture over here.
Kingdom Hearts is
I have nothing to interject here. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so no, but you guys don't understand, because I was watching The Little Mermaid, okay? And in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. No, but in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, Sora and friends go to like see Ariel. So the whole time I was like, I'm gonna see Sora come down in this gummy ship in the middle of this real life movie. I was so excited.
Like one of those YouTube
Dude, if Donald and Goofy just showed up in the new movie, I would have been sold. You couldn't get me out of the theater at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would have been so down. That movie would have been a 10 out of 10 if Sora and the gang come down in the middle of it. That would have been fantastic.
They beat the shit out of Ursula.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I'll never understand though is like Disney. Well, it's not just Disney, but like all these companies in Hollywood, their obsession with like race swapping every ginger they come across. You know what I mean?
Specifically gingers.
Yeah, it's oddly specific. Like I don't understand. Like the new Superman thing coming up, Jimmy Olsen, ginger, race swap. The Ninja Turtles that came out not too long ago, April O'Neil, ginger, race swap. Ariel, ginger, what race swap? Like I could go on for a while, dude. It's just like
Wally West too.
How do they do like movies and be so out of touch? You're literally in the media.
Yeah, it's just
how do you not know people like?
Why the ginger erasure? They make up like 2% or less of the population. Just leave them alone.
You literally are the media. Like,
Yeah, it's like
you're in it. How are you so out of touch?
Y'all don't have focus groups? Wait a minute.
For a reason, guys.
Holy shit. All these focus groups hate gingers.
They're like, guys, I don't know what it is. Everyone just hates gingers all of a sudden. Cut them out from every movie. I want them gone.
Erase from existence. Thanos snap. Done. Forget about it.
No.
Right.
I mean, if you Thanos snap an entire people from media, good to go. Yep. That's how you rewrite history.
What do you mean good to go?
I don't know. They have a plan.
I don't know if it's good to go. I think it's bad to go. Yeah, if you Thanos snap all ginger, I think that's bad to go. You know, I think if you erase if you erase anybody from media, I'm like bad to go. No, 2 thumbs down.
I'm right there with you. It's just like I don't get it, but clearly somebody has a plan, and I'm not exactly a planner, so
that's fair. I'm not in the media. What do I know? Apparently.
We're nerds.
It's
So
Guess
what
we
do
are
we
kind of in
know?
the media now, huh? Like,
it's weirdly specific, the ginger thing, though. That's all.
it is.
You know.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
But Ariel, for the record, she retains her red hair in the movie. So, like, I guess that's like
They did race swap her though.
that's true, but they
It's
kept her
weird.
as a ginger, so it's like an even trade, I guess.
I have to know. Was it just? Hold on. So was it just Ariel that was like race swapped, or is it like were all mermaids black? Like I could give them a pass if every mermaid is black. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
They are distinctly culturally ambiguous. So like King Triton is played by Javier Bardem, and then all of his daughters are like from different parts of the ocean, basically.
That makes sense. That would make sense.
So and all the mermaids, like, they're not of one like ethnicity, like they're all just different. So
yeah. Like it would make sense, like if some of them looked like Pacific Islander, like one of them looked kind of Asian.
There's a bunch of
that would make a lot of sense, actually. Like if they all had kind of that Islander look, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're in the ocean all the time, so
The ocean.
it's either that or just have translucent skin.
Yeah, I always say, like, I think a mermaid, like, if mermaids were to be real, they would either be like dark toned skin or they would be like translucent in a way.
Yeah, like you can see their organs pumping around inside them.
Or like it's the entire ocean, you know what I mean? Like they could be anything. They could be all things. They could be from, you know, like regionally specific, just like humans. Who's to say?
Yeah, honestly.
I want to know why they're not blue. Like so many fish are just kind of blue.
Well, I mean, I think like when you get to like the dark color, you are kind of blue, especially when like sharks are blue, just so they camouflage in the water.
Yeah, just
I bet it's
I can't imagine mermaids would
have
like
that shark
camouflage
skin,
like crazy.
you know?
Yeah, they would have like the shark like backwards scales.
So in Kingdom Hearts 2, when you're in like the Little Mermaid and when you're in Atlantica, Sora has a blue like bottom. So I guess that's camouflage. That's a form of it.
And he's camouflaged from the waist down.
Yeah.
It's just a torso.
Yeah.
Brilliant
like
stuff.
if I saw an enemy that was just the torso, I would be scared.
Yeah.
Be horrified.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, how'd that guy do that? I'm gonna get out of here.
Shit, what the fuck?
Oh.
He's just floating at me.
No.
I'd be like, oh God, like
turn around so fast.
His muscles are propelling him through the ocean,
like
but there's nothing else. Oh God.
It's sheer will that's getting him through it.
Oh,
damn. He'd be like that guy that like doesn't have legs and he just rides around on a skateboard.
Oh no.
You've probably seen him online. Like the internet's a big place.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dude, his skills are radical. It's awesome. He's so good.
Well, he's got that low center of gravity. He could be. He's got it.
Oh man.
He's all set. On a side note, let's see. I do have a Describify for this week, Sam.
Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't mention the Gloomhaven expansion.
Oh shit, the Gloomhaven. So the Gloomhaven role RPG that came out is one of the big projects that emerged from the OGL debacle at the start of the year. So it's like they've really grown a lot. They're getting an expansion, and let's see a little bit about it from the expand to include the Frosthaven setting. So more content. Everyone's got to have more content. Love that stuff. See what the article says about it. Gloomhaven RPG will include Frosthaven setting according to the creator of Gloomhaven, Isaac Childress. He's got child in the last name. I don't know.
Like no, wait, I was gonna say Esker Wild, but that's not it.
Esker Child.
What's the one like Julia Child? There you go.
Oh, okay. I have no clue who that is. I'm culturally illiterate.
It's a cooking lady.
A cooking lady.
Yeah.
Well, if she makes
was, like,
food,
famous.
I'm sorry.
She also was in the epic rap battle with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, she was big in the middle of the 1900s. She
That shit
big
went
in the
so
50s
hard,
and
man. She cooked that man.
Okay, so the Gloomhaven second edition, Charles Brupen and Dennis Vogel, I think that's how you say his last name. They did a Ask Me Anything kind of thing, kind of getting into the depths of that stuff. One user, a local coffee mancer, asked whether there might be any chance the creatures or classes from Frosthaven will be making it into the Gloomhaven RPG. Which he replied, while the initial RPG is offering is centered around Gloomhaven and those monsters, our plan is to continue supporting the product. That will be more content releases. So okay, so more content.
Yeah.
Woo! Look, in this world, it's content.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, their crowdfunding campaign is currently live on BackerKit. I've never heard of BackerKit, so.
What the fuck is BackerKit?
It's just I think it's like a Kickstarter type thing.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Like yeah.
Look, Bo Burnham said it right. Content.
I guess so. So backers can get a copy of it for about $30 or I want it again. I think that's like 23 British pounds. I'm not good with international currency symbols.
I didn't know that Gloomhaven was coming out with an RPG. I've played the board game before and it's fun, but I didn't know they were coming up with a tabletop. That's cool.
What's the board game like?
It's kind of like if you made a board game out of first or second edition D&D. It's kind of lethal like that. You're a lot more tied into you're a lot more limited in what your options as your character are, but it's kind of like a tactical dungeon crawly board game. It's cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
I do like those kind of things because when you're limited, that gives you a box, and once you have a box, you can think outside the box.
It is nice just because it chooses to do a couple of things and just do them really well. That kind of limiting of mechanics, I think, is really nice, or it can be really nice. Just depends,
Yeah. Like I said, if you give me a box, I'll think outside the box. But if you don't give me a box, the world is too open, and I'm starting to get a little claustrophobic.
Yeah, totally.
So we can expect the new expansion for the crowdfunding campaign of Gloomhaven to release in July of 2024. So by this time next year.
Nice.
That's cool. That's neat.
Shout out to Gloomhaven.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad someone on here knew more than I did because I'm just like, Gloomhaven. I've heard about it, but
it's a neat game. It's expensive though. It's like over $100, I think, the board game because there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that comes in
It's a huge box.
It's a huge box, a big board, and just a lot of pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why I don't know more about it. I'd have to have money.
Yeah, it definitely costs something, dude.
A barrier to entry. Money.
Yeah. Yes.
We all know fun things aren't free.
Except D&D. You don't need money to play D&D.
Except D&D.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. When my dad was playing D&D back in the day, they didn't even have really any books, maybe a couple between them. And they'd just be playing, walking back and forth to school. It's okay, maybe every couple blocks they'll stop to roll a d20, but that's about it.
Right.
What a time to be alive. I wasn't, but what a time to be alive.
Yeah, what a time it probably was,
Back then, they were pioneers of their own homebrew. The Wizards of the Coast wasn't really putting out monster races so much at the time.
True creativity at the time.
Yeah, so if you wanted to play a kobold, you and your friends had to sit down and be like, okay, DM, let's make a fucking kobold race.
Yeah. And they didn't have, now I feel like our opinions and our creativity is so saturated, they didn't have the same stuff we do. So their stuff was fresh off the brain. They were like, what should this really be?
It's
An opinion.
it's just it was a totally different world, man. I think for like homebrewing, you know what I mean? Because like you said, like as a player, you're probably homebrewing a little bit all the time back in the day. Because like if you want to do something, it's not like you have the resources to like
Right.
check it out. You know, back in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, it's just
I'll
it was
do
the
it
Wild West of
myself.
homebrew.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Yeah, I
right.
don't know anything about all that because I am very young. Sitting here like, yes, I know these things. Just like,
Yes, I get it.
I'm pretty sure
Looks like
Ryan's probably the
Cameron.
oldest out of all of us.
I'm
One,
only 28.
Yeah.
One of my favorite like little facts about, I think it was first edition, maybe second, but I think it was first, is that in order to play as a bard, it was in the back of the book, and you couldn't start until like level 13 because you had to take a class of fighter, a class or a level of fighter, a couple levels of fighter, a couple levels of thief, rogue, and a couple levels of wizard. You had to do it in a specific order with like 17s for every ability score, basically.
My
And
God.
then you could play a bard, right? And so
Yeah.
like when that's the game you're playing, how do you not homebrew a little bit so you can, just play a fucking bard? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Gygax in the early days of D&D, like the rules were very I guess I'd say pedantic, and you know what I mean? It's like there's
Pedantic.
lots of like, why do you have rules this specific for it? Like, just kind of let people play a thing.
I think like, if I'm remembering right, D&D, the original first edition, comes out of like um war games. Like,
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
so I think it has that in its DNA, especially back then, you know what I mean? Of like war games rely on there being set rules for stuff like that for engagement, right? So when D&D is based off of that, you know what I mean? It's very different from what we have now, I think,
Yeah, it was kind of grandfathered in, and then like D&D kind of became its own subculture. And
Yes.
I guess the home brewing of the community really formed it to the D&D that we know today. And that's growing out far beyond just D&D, because we got all kinds of tabletops, and they're wild. Like our group on the server right now is looking into playing a Soul Eater campaign, which sounds fantastic. I already started making a character because why the fuck not? Who hasn't wanted to make a
we're
Soul
so
Eater
excited for that.
character?
We've been wanting a Soul Eater campaign for so long.
I think one of the like really sad things about the OGL, the Wizards OGL thing, right, is that homebrew like raised like the generation of people that are working on D&D now. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't be the same designers without homebrewing themselves, back in the day, right? And spreading it to their friends, right? So it was really sad that Wizards tried to nip that in the bud, because that's a lot of where their people come from, I think,
Yeah, right. I think that's why people were so like disrespected,
Yeah.
We're like, how dare you try to like get rid of our roots? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it just seems like a top-down, tone-deaf decision. Like, there's no way this came from the people that are baked into Wizards of the Coast, like the core staff. It had to have been like some top-tier Hasbro stuff, because there's no way that these people that have been playing D&D for a long time and are now making it are thinking that way.
I remember hearing a lot from like people who knew people who worked on D&D that it wasn't the designers, right? Like nobody on the design team is like, hey, this is a good idea, But like you said, it's probably people up higher than them in Hasbro or at the very top of Wizards of the Coast,
Corporate's very out of touch in basically every thing I've ever worked for, every company I've been with. Most of the time when I see a corporate decision that's out there for everyone to see, is like, y'all are out of touch. Like, you're just a bunch of people in a board meeting. You think you're coming up with some slick ideas, but you're not on the ground. You're not hanging out with the people. You don't know.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Sam. Anything else you want to cover before we move on to the homebrews?
You have your Descriptify.
Descriptify. So, a descriptive word for the week that I like. This is a little segment I like to do for DMs that don't necessarily have the best words and stuff. So this week we're using lackadaisical. Kind of a very whimsical word. Basically, like you can use this to describe a character that's very, doesn't care much. They're very low involvement. They don't want to put much effort into something. That lacking enthusiasm or interest. They're kind of a little listless. So like a lackadaisical shopkeep. They're just like, whatever. Take a look around, I guess. I don't really care. Goes back to reading their paper.
It's a good word.
It's a good word, yeah. He would be very lackadaisical.
Sure. That's a good one to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as a DM, like you're always expected to describe things all the time. So sometimes it just pays off to have different words to describe the same things. Because like, okay, you can describe a guard as very lazy. Well, you've used lazy like 4 times this session to describe something. He seems to have a very lackadaisical attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
sound
think
like you have your shit together.
Yeah. Like paint a better picture of like how this guy's acting.
exactly.
Yeah, because like if you use a word like that, then all of a sudden your players like some of them might not know what that means. So then you have to get a little bit more descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, I think DMing in a way is like writing a book in real time in front of people, which is anybody's ever written. That's not easy. Like that's very nerve-wracking. And vocabulary is really important in that, So expanding it and
that's why I think like if we give more of these DMs out there that are kind of doing stuff for their players, a few $10 words to throw around, then like, the player's not sure what that means. Then you have to kind of like describe more, and then that gets you in a flow. And once you get that descriptive flow, then like you can kind of paint a better picture.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
All right, you ready, Sam, for our homebrews for the week?
Yeah, let's go. Nice.
What do you got for this week, Sam?
Love that one. So to keep the whole homunculus, alchemist, scientist theme, thought I would take a homebrew spell that had to do with geneticism,
Should
so
we
I found
be scared?
one. You should be. I found one that was a little cool called Genetic Reshuffle.
Genetic Reshuffle?
I like this already.
That's a crazy name.
This better be like 9th level.
It's a 4th level spell. So Genetic Reshuffle is a 4th level necromancy spell. 1 action casting time, 30 feet. Vocal, somatic, and material component. You need a part of the target's body, which the spell consumes. And is a 1 minute concentration. So you target one creature in range and begin to write their DNA on the fly, very poorly. Roll 3d6. If this is equal to or greater than the target's current hit points, their body explodes into a massive ball of meat, 2 size categories larger than their normal size.
I'm there.
They die instantly, and they can only be revived by divine intervention, the wish spell, or similar effects. So, I mean, that's not too crazy. Killing something weaker than 3d6, whatever. If it is not above their current hit points, at the start of their next turn, you roll again, but add 2d6 for every round you've been concentrating beyond the first. If the spell fails, the target if the target is a creature not at least partially made of flesh. At 5th level, or at higher level, you can cast it at 5th level or higher. Add an extra 1d6 for every round you've been concentrating for every level above 4th.
So it's like it's like the sleep spell, but just more pop.
Yeah, it's a combat sleep spell, yeah. Basically.
Yeah. I like that concept. And so for every round that it's like concentrated on, right? You add another d6, right?
You add 2d6, yes.
Got it. Okay, and how long can you concentrate on it for?
A minute. So 10 rounds.
So that's 10 rounds. So that's like 12d6 or something like that? 6d6?
Yeah, something like that.
That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty like reasonable, I feel,
And any competent DM is gonna be like, what you doing over there? Concentrating. I see what you're doing. I'm not gonna let you. So I mean, having that as like a threat is very cool.
Yeah.
I think.
I was gonna say that puts a timer on like any one creature's existence.
Not only are they taking damage, and as soon as they meet that threshold, you know what I mean, that could be really cool.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that puts a timer like that on combat.
Yeah, that seems interesting because like
visual.
it's a spell with a satisfying finish.
Yeah.
That's very true too.
I can even see the DM like maybe there's like a fail factor. Maybe you change a part of their body. Like,
yeah, that'd be really cool. I like that idea. I like the idea of changing somebody's like.
That's
like
kind of what I
makeup.
thought it would be. You're not just dismantling their genetics. You're kind of altering.
Yeah,
Totally.
Turn their hands into feet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, turn those wings into
freaky.
Or
permanently meat wad.
Yeah, meat wad.
give them fish legs so that they're a mermaid, right?
Right.
Oh my god!
We've come full circle, man.
Full
Thank you.
circle.
Or make them into a homunculus. There we go. Done.
Something about the way that like the flavor was worded, it like kind of reminds me of an SCP.
Yes, it did. Yeah,
I enjoy it actually.
I like that it very like it states like you alter the DNA poorly. Like bad,
poorly.
Fuck it up. Like
right.
You're doing it so fast. You can't get it.
It's like it's like having that player try to alter DNA, but that they're using their real life math skills.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
If they play this spell, they pull out like a sheet that details the human DNA synchrome. Like you're like, all right, dismantle it. You got a minute.
It's like when you have an engineer play an artificer. You have to be a geneticist to actually make the spell fun.
Yeah, work.
Oh my god.
You have a minute to take a course online.
Yeah, I got my online degree right here in genetic physics.
Yeah, I'm giving that like a 9 out of 10. I like that a lot. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that conceptually a lot.
Flavor's great.
Yeah.
I'll give it I'll give it a 7 out of 10 just because like it's got that satisfying pop, but it's just fundamentally gross.
It's a little strong, yeah. This does come from a D&D wiki, so leave room for.
Do we all get to give it a number rating?
Oh, absolutely, if you want to.
I also agree that it's a 9 out of 10 because I feel like it's maybe a little on the weak side, just because like for a 4th level, there's a lot of things you can do with a 4th level spell, and killing a 18 health like thing on your first round. Right. I think there are other spells that do similar things, right?
You can one-shot creatures like that anyway,
Yeah, but if you up the damage a little bit, 10 out of 10 spell because the effect is awesome and mechanically it's really interesting.
Right. And then you could kind of flavor it like, okay, the creature maybe like feels something like wrong, and it's like it's like zeroes in on you doing something to it.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
It's like immediately, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I imagine that it'd be kind of a fun thing if you paired it with your barbarian. Like barbarian smashes this creature, and then you follow up with it just exploding into a pile of meat.
Yeah, I gotta say, especially if you have like a big boss, and then you've been fighting this fight for a while, throw this on it, you laying on as much damage as you can. You got the health is ticking.
Yeah,
you basically have an execute threshold.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really interesting, like threshold to try and achieve as a group. You know what I mean? Like if you're fighting a boss, like you said, that'd be fun. Gives a really nice like damage utility to casters.
Yeah, it could definitely kind of force that teamwork.
Yeah,
pivot on like my move or whatever.
Totally right.
Yeah, but Orion, what about you? What do you got today?
Well, we've all heard of the coffee lock,
the coffee lock?
Yes. Where you take a warlock and a sorcerer and you're getting all these spell slots back and all these meta magics, and you got a pretty good source of spell slots with that broken combo.
So basically what you're telling me is we got a sorcerer with ADHD.
Yes.
All right, cool.
And the only way to calm them down is coffee.
Oh, God.
Your patron is your ADHD.
Well,
crazy.
I present to you the dark drink, a patron of Java proportions, a real espresso of a patron.
I'm espresso of his joke.
Well, this is the real coffee lock. The dark drink, the Eldritch Patron by IDBN. Okay,
Did you say
shout out to
Eldritch?
IDBN. A grizzled orc takes a swig of this special swill. The blood running from his wounds suddenly clots, keeping him in the fight for a little longer. A young half-elf sips from her steaming mug and smiles, energized enough to keep attending to her studies. A guard knocks back a shot from Zur trusty flask and plows on with the grisly case. Okay, weird. Most warlocks who have bound themselves to the magical elixirs aren't even aware of the magical dependency that they've developed with their beverage of choice. But the rewards of their addiction are enough that many, even if they were aware, would still imbibe their dark drink. So, starting off at level 1, we got Imbibed Magic. The dark drink that sustains you offers many strange and wonderful effects. The dark drink lets you choose from an expanded spell list. When you learn a warlock spell, the following levels are added to your warlock spell list. Okay, so first level, we got False Life and Long Strider.
Nice.
Good spells.
Very on brand for coffee. And then we're going to follow it up at second level, Lesser Restoration and Enhanceability. That's the double shot.
I like it.
Yeah, good spells.
Okay, now for the espresso, we got Haste and Blink.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Also really good spells.
It's movement.
Yeah, and then like when you get that crash, you got that sudden stone skin and divination.
Ah, okay.
But
I could even say like sleep.
Yeah.
Like slow. Slow would be good.
And then at fifth level, we're getting that Folgers treatment with Awaken and Greater Restoration.
Ah, nice, nice.
So excellent spell choice for this subclass. I'm loving that already.
I was gonna say.
I can even see this being like a coffee bard, man.
I was gonna say it's like a movement buff heavy like warlock subclass, which is really cool. But it sounds I was gonna say bard, which is it's my favorite class. Like bard has a lot of that like stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I could rant about bards all day.
For sure.
I'm just picturing like a super hyper like hyped up bard all the time.
Yeah.
Ooh, if you could play a high energy character, this would be the way to do it.
It's canon that all bards have ADHD, so like this isn't too far removed, you know?
Yeah, right.
I like the idea. So following up for the other first level feature, we got the good stuff. You always keep a reserve of the precious liquid at hand. Even when you drink other liquids, you find yourself mixing it with the dark drink. The trusty vessel filled with your drink of choice becomes a totem of power for you. Which you may use as an arcane focus. Additionally, you gain a pool of drink dice. This pool has a number of d4s equal to twice your warlock level. When you drink anything, including a magical potion or elixir, you may also expend and roll a number of drink dice, up to your charisma modifier. For the next minute, you gain temporary hit points equal to the result. You gain any expended drink dice when you finish a short or long rest.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
That's a pretty good right there.
Yeah, temp HP is always nice.
I love temp HP.
And then let's see, we got Quick Sip. That's a 10th level. A drink is almost always in your hand when you take the attack action or cast a warlock cantrip. You may use your bonus action to consume a drink, including a magical potion or elixir.
Oh my god, you know what they should mix this with? The Drunken Fighter. This would go crazy.
Multi-class.
Yeah, you just spike your coffee.
Well, seeing it as caffeine and alcohol when mixed together, kind of like caffeine amplifies the effect of alcohol.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's a reason that Four Loko had to take the caffeine out of the Four Lokos.
The Four Loko Bard?
Four Loko Bard.
That's awesome.
That's really good, actually.
Oh man.
Well, it's funny
That
you
is a
say
very
that
good
because we're following up with the next 10th level ability, Liquid Courage.
Ooh.
Awesome.
The dark drink gives you strength and drive to get up and do what needs to be done. While you have temporary hit points from your good stuff feature, you roll with advantage on saves against the frightened condition, and you ignore 1 level of exhaustion. You still die if you
Ooh, nice.
gain your last level of exhaustion.
Makes sense.
That's nice though.
Mm.
Exhaustion's a pain to deal with, so that's cool.
Yeah.
The capstone here at level 14 is Quick Pick Me Up. Sometimes the drink is stronger than you realize, and it makes you stronger than you know, able to push on beyond what you thought possible. When you complete a short rest, you may expend half your drink dice to gain all the benefits of a long rest except regaining drink dice and reducing exhaustion.
Oh, that's
Wow.
not
After 4
bad.
hours, you gain 2 levels of exhaustion. And the next time you finish a long rest, roll a d20. If you roll a 9 or lower, you gain no benefits from that long rest.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Whoa.
I like
fun.
it. That's good.
It's got
Yeah, that last
drawbacks.
ability is fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. If you really need, like, you're in a tough area, you know, you need that quick, you need all your spell slots.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I like that last ability a lot.
Mm,
Yeah.
same. I really like that. It's amazing. I was a little confused at first. Like, I thought there was another class feature between level 1 and level 10 for Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they missed something, or maybe
Should
I'm
be.
missing something. But so
I
far,
feel like
I
there
love it.
is, but
There definitely
Yeah.
should be, I think. Because isn't there one at like 5 or like 7 or something?
something like that. I think it's been a long time since I've played Warlock, though.
Look at the Warlock list.
yeah, I'm pulling that up right now because I'm fairly certain. Like, if
Yeah.
they
Oh,
did,
no. Yeah, they get one at level 6.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get a patron
that sounds
feature.
right.
okay, so like at levels, yeah, usually there's a thing at level 6.
Mhm.
Nonetheless, it's. I think that's a cool subclass. It sounds fun, at least fun to play around with.
Yeah,
could
I
mix it
think
with
this
some of your
person
other
was so
fun
hopped up
things.
on coffee they forgot level 6.
I
It's too powerful, man.
it'd be a
You know
really
what?
fun.
Praise the bean.
Praise the bean.
Yeah, I think I know what we need to do to fix this subclass for level 6. Your level 6
Okay.
feature, you can give your drink to a party member.
As a bonus
Yeah,
action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this sounds like a really good dip because I think a lot of classes could benefit from the class features. So if you could like give your allies any of this, I think it'd be really powerful in a good way.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the ability to just give somebody one of your drinks and your drink dice with it.
Yeah.
Now that, as a level 6 ability, it's small, it's not overpowered, but it has a big impact, and that would complete the whole class.
Yeah.
Yes, and some classes would really benefit from that. And it kind of goes with the theme of buffing with, like its spells and stuff like that, So I think
Yeah,
that works.
and then like on the descriptive side is like, your dark patron compels you to spread the word of the bean. So you're always trying to get
The
other people
bean.
to have coffee with you.
Praise the bean.
It's a
You're
Have you
just
heard the
peer
top of the
pressuring your
morning
friends.
coffee? No.
coffee break. That's what you call it. Coffee break. Hey man, let's have a coffee break.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah,
Top of
that's
the
fun.
morning to you, ladies. Have you heard about my coffee?
I love it. It's good. I'd like to see if we could get that person to come on the show and then like
That would be
discuss the level 6 ability that they missed. Unless there's like other iterations and I'm just missing something here.
Yeah, Ryan, stop calling out this guy. Damn.
Well, maybe someone just posted their thing like a little early. I don't know.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah,
Sorry, you
shout out
forgot your
to
thing. Like it
IDBN.
anyway. Yeah, I give it like a solid like 8. I like that one a lot. You could mix it with the fun things. You could, fit it into a party pretty easily, I think.
I've been drinking a lot of coffee lately, so I'll give it a 10.
I'm on that 8 train. I like it giving it an 8. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Praise the bean.
Praise the
Praise
bean.
the
I want to know
bean.
what their idea for a level 6 ability is.
Praise the bean.
Yeah,
Praise the
it's just
bean.
called praise the bean.
You spread the word by giving your allies a taste of your delicious drinks. There you go.
A taste
And
of
then
that
you have to
delicious
say
roast.
praise the bean.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to say it.
And then you,
Activate
when
the
you
ability
pass
to
it off, you have to.
Or it fizzles. You have to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or else your coffee god will be like, no, you can't have it.
It'll be like
It's a bean
decaf
in the
if you don't
sky.
say praise the bean.
You know, I one of the things I love the most about this is that your coffee cup is your arcane focus. So you'll just be running around in a dungeon with World Greatest Dad.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Good flavor.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I love
Like
it.
this is a very flavorful subclass.
Yeah.
I think this episode has been pretty flavored.
Yeah, with a Little
Yeah.
Mermaid.
Yeah.
Got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's been flavored with blood and semen. Have you guys not been listening to the same podcast I have?
No!
Because that's
Suddenly
all
this
we've been
coffee
talking
isn't
about.
looking so good. I'm gonna have to switch to a different creamer.
Yeah, that was crazy that you just
Let's
said
do a
that.
different creamer.
Dude, that's
No.
it. Dude, first of all, nobody go there. But second of all, it's not my fault. You guys were talking about blood and semen the whole time. I didn't say
Okay.
a word about it.
Yeah,
What the research calls, the research gets.
Hey man, no hate. Like whatever happens, happens. I'm just saying. Seems like a theme this
Oh,
episode.
man.
we're very
And
good at being
normally when
on
I talk
theme.
about monsters, I always go into like the reproduction. So just I didn't go into that this time.
But you basically did because you talked about how they're made, and it was
Yeah, they
blood
can
and
just make
semen.
more.
They don't fuck each other.
Am I the crazy one? Am I nuts? Is it that I'm crazy? Because
It's not that you're
Blood and
crazy. It's
semen.
unfortunately for
You know,
you, sir. You might be a
Medusa lay
little bit
eggs?
sane.
uh,
I'm sorry, that's the diagnosis.
that's
Oh,
awful.
no.
I liked being ignorant before to that.
Better to be ignorant than sane.
Girl just got diagnosed with normal. It's crazy.
Tanner's gonna leave. He's gonna leave. He's gonna be
Could've
like,
been
"Well."
me.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out.
I think that does kind of close up this episode. If we have anything else,
Oh, cool.
Do
We're
y'all have a
ending on
homebrew you
blood
want
and
to share?
anything you want to share? Or
I don't know.
you want
No.
to
What do
plug
we do?
yourself? Whatever.
Leave. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah. Listen to 5 Gems in a Trench Coat.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
these
it's
guys
cool
seem pretty
sometimes.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
These guys seem kind of funny, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know.
If you guys want to hear about blood and semen, don't come listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
'cause I'm
don't
not
come
gonna
listen to
bring
our
it up.
podcast.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
won't.
there. I'm really
Yeah,
sorry
I hate to
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you.
Stay
Talk
here
more
if that's what
about
you're looking for.
Corbett.
We do
Yeah.
talk a lot about Corvids, actually. Sometimes we're 5 Corvids in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Crows and
Occasionally.
ravens.
Right.
Yeah, we talk about crows and ravens. That's our podcast.
No, the,
Ah,
the
yes,
book
a whole-
that I've been listening to on Audible is talking about
5 murders
Corvids
in a
lot
trench coat.
lately.
What never mind. Off air, I want to ask for audiobook, but off air.
Oh, yeah. It's what is it called? Why am I forgetting all of a sudden? It's like the
5
Dissonance
Corvids in a
series.
trench coat.
The,
Nice.
the dissonance series.
Oh, let me check. The second one is called. That's my Audible load. Silence. It is
Silence.
listen to a lot of lit RPG books.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
a lot
no,
of
I
my
get you.
D&D ideas from those.
Totally.
Yeah, that and SCPs.
I do love
SCPs
it.
are fun.
SCPs are great.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
ever
so,
need to
it is
terrify some
the-
players, just all reliable. Whatever the SCP Foundation.
Anyone here likes lit RPG books? Definitely check out the Unbound series by Nicola Ganella. Yeah,
Put that
Really
in the
fucking good,
description.
really fucking good.
So,
I love those
anything else y'all want to plug? Like,
You can follow our social medias if you
Yeah.
like what you heard and you thought we were funny. We're 5GMs in a trench coat on Instagram and TikTok, and at 5GMs official on Twitter, because apparently Twitter has a limit for your username. And I was like, wow.
And also we do, well, some of us in the team do things
Except for one person.
Except for one person. Everyone but one person in our team work on Adavan's Art Armory on
Yes.
Instagram and Twitter.
We do homebrew 5e items on there.
Yeah, and I
Ooh,
draw
nice.
a lot of it.
Nice. We may have to have you on again.
Yeah,
for a
but
different thing
we'll
that
just
we
put
do.
on a different hat.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time.
I love it.
Yeah,
Oh well,
Yeah,
that
do a
time
costume
Adam
change.
can come
Yeah.
on.
yeah, because Adam's the main guy. Yeah.
Yes.
He is.
Awesome.
I want to say I think we featured one of those items before on an episode.
Really?
Yeah, man, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Appreciate
Which
it.
one? Now I want to know which one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't exactly remember, but the name is so familiar. I'm pretty sure that if we haven't done it, we definitely will, because I want to check some of that out.
I was gonna say, like,
What do they
you
call
got
it
it
now?
now.
Adavan's Armory?
Yeah,
It's on
doesn't that sound
Instagram, right?
familiar, Sam?
It does sound familiar.
We did a confectionery bard with all the bard talk.
That
Mm.
sounds so
Yeah, we did do a
We
cooking
just
bard. So if you
posted-
want to check out
Ooh.
cooking bard,
Barbarian subclass.
sounds so familiar.
It does.
I
But
don't know. We'll have to check our notes and stuff.
yeah,
absolutely. If y'all send a link, we'll have to bring some of that into next week's episode, because that sounds
Yeah, we'll do
amazing.
that for sure.
for sure.
Hey
Thanks,
guys, I
guys.
hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Check out 5GMs in a trench coat. They seem cool as hell. You know, maybe they'll join our Discord and become our friends. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. I love friends.
Yeah. What's the Discord?
Yeah.
The Nerd
over.
Militia.
Yeah, send it over. We'll join.
All right. And with that, everybody have a great weekend and happy 4th
Happy
of July.
4th of July.
Fourth.
Ooh.
Woo! Podcast out.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
And we're good. Great job, guys. That was fantastic.
That was a fun one.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
coming.
We love having guests on the show. It's really the highlight of podcasting.
really is the best
Yeah,
part,
just
yeah.
bringing people in.
Talking about
Blood.
nonsense for an hour.
Blood and semen.
That's the fun part.
We talked about blood and semen, dude.
Blood and semen.
Yeah.
Yeah, blood and semen and the Little Mermaid.
Little
Yeah,
guys.
blood and semen, the
you know?
Little
Yeah.
Mermaid.
No.
Blood,
It all
semen,
comes
and
together. Sam,
Little guy.
give a little bit of warning next time.
Scanlon.
We've all seen Full Metal Alchemist. We know what goes into the production.
bro.
Hey, that's just what happens.
It's real.
I can only assume there was a copious blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
You guys remember the dog episode? Crazy.
Oh no.
Oh, that dog
Bro, don't
episode
even.
breaks people.
Yeah,
Don't
of course. That
even.
shit's rough.
We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it because it makes you sad.
Well, we talk
don't
about blood and
about
semen.
doggo.
Blood and
No,
semen is
no, no.
objectively a better topic.
Yeah. Do you really want to